Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
I'm Todd Pleasant.
I'm Derryl DePriest.
And I'm Brian Mix.
We got the whole crew here.
Yay.
We all spent 16 hours together
Yeah.
via text
Via text.
over the weekend.
It was like a virtual convention for us.
It was.
Yeah.
So we felt like it'd be appropriate to have everyone here. So,
The culmination of 2 full days of texting with each other about an auction when none of us were at.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not a lot.
But I
of
feel
people
like I
were,
was
but-
there because I watched every minute of it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, we're talking about the Greg Jien auction, which you've heard us talk about. We had guests on. It was this weekend as we were recording this, and the first day was 10 hours, right?
Yeah.
The second day was 6 or 7 hours, and we all were texting basically throughout the whole thing.
Today was the third day.
Yeah,
Today was the
technically,
third day,
There it was, yeah.
but for not props, but for
Trading cards,
trading
collectible
cards.
cards. Secret third day.
Did it? And I know Barry went to a party. I went for dinner and this Halloween thing with friends. I kind of got a little yelled at for not paying attention and being on my phone. the
I
whole
was in a
time.
movie theater texting Barry to bid for me.
Yeah, I didn't get in any trouble, thankfully. I was kind of a little bit inconspicuous, but unfortunately, and we'll get into all of it, the thing that we were all trying to bid on together, I was driving while all that went down, so I didn't see the result of it until after I got where I was going.
And I was literally in the midst of dinner, and can you put that away? No, I literally yelled, no, because I'm texting you guys. Most of the day I was on my phone, on my computer, actually on 2 computers, and I had texting on one computer, I had auction on another computer, but I'm at the table and we're like eating, and I'm like, it's going down, and you guys are texting me, and the thing is, and I'm like, and you're like, and Brian's like, go higher. And I'm like, I can't go higher. And then it was just a lot.
Yeah, I had put the fear of God in Dave about not going higher. I said, I think my exact words were, if you go any higher, it's on you.
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah.
I was at my wife's 40th high school reunion weekend. We had a road trip that was about 4 hours away. And boy, did this allow me to pass the time in the car and at a reunion where I had no interest in talking to anybody. So I had a great excuse to just sit over by myself and
Nice.
I gotta say, there's few things less engaging than being at a spouse's high school reunion or college reunion, whatever. It's just like there's few places where you can be less connected with people.
Exactly.
And then you get down to a tier where she has no connection with these people whatsoever, but she's got to catch up on 40 years. And it's just like, there's just nothing. Nothing here I need to know.
She's supposed to parade you around like her trophy, and
It's
you're
like
sitting in
trophy
the corner.
husband.
Well, I actually have found, I'll tell you
yes.
this, the way to get through these things is lie.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell a different story to every single person that you meet that you'll never speak to again.
Oh,
And it's
man.
great. You tell them you're a nuclear physicist. Tell them that you washed out of the astronaut program. You were really close, but
Karen,
it was like,
Karen would just punch you.
no, because I get stuck talking to people, or she's talking to other people. The other people would come over and say, hey, I don't remember you. And I'm like, no, well, I'm a spouse. And I'll like get to, well, what do you do? And you just make up shit. It's great. It's an
Oh
absolute.
my gosh.
So,
My favorite message was the one from Barry who got back from his party, and he says, "My phone says I missed 50 text messages."
It was flying. There were a
No
lot of-
joke. We got into
that
the
could
party.
happen on a trip to the bathroom. Okay.
we got into the party, and I pulled my phone out of my pocket finally, and I'm like, holy shit, how many texts did I miss?
Well, it was awesome hanging out with you guys for a whole weekend
It
virtually.
really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. Great stuff.
I'm just trying to look because I noticed yesterday, because if you go on, I don't know if it says we'll get into what we bid on, but the people whoever won, if you looked at, I don't think it says on who won these anymore, but it would say phone bidder, it would say floor bidder, it would say
Internet bidder.
Internet, which I don't get how someone's an internet bidder versus you printed it all out.
I wrote them all down.
Oh,
Wow,
Jesus.
Brian.
The price and who won. What else am I going to do?
That is like Dave
10
level
hours
note
on my
taking.
butt?
That's incredible.
That's beyond Dave level.
And
But-
Dave, they had another thing that said book bidder. I had no idea.
That's the thing I saw. The person who won
book bidder.
the
What
thing
is
was
that?
a book bidder.
That
So-
was
Wait a minute.
someone.
So an internet
you-
bidder is not just somebody that's
No.
No. So here's the
What's
level.
internet versus
Well, it was Heritage Live.
Heritage Live, as we heard
Internet.
8 zillion times.
Heritage Live is someone live clicking on a button.
That's us.
Internet bidder is someone who pre-bid earlier in the week
Right.
on the internet.
Like a proxy
With a
bid.
number. And so that's why you would see that the internet bidders will come right away. Boom, 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 because there's someone just hitting the button for them, waiting as it goes up. A book bidder is someone who actually filled out the form saying, these are the lots I want. This is how much I'm going to spend on each lot, and mailed it in.
Those are old school auction bidders.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. That led me to believe. So, all right. There's no order to this. So there were Harry Mudd from the episode I Mudd, the necklaces that the androids were. There was a lot of 6,
Yes.
and we all decided
Yeah.
to chip in and buy the lot of 6 and then sell one of them or whatever. And we bid to our max. We were really in there, and then it went to the next bid, and that next bid won. My feeling was if this guy did it on a book, and I say guy because women aren't buying this Star Trek crap, I bet it would have gone higher. Someone had to have that thing, was my guess.
Yeah, they probably had a high number on it.
What's
we
weird
just
is
kept
when
going
I
up.
look at the completed, because I set up a bunch of items that I wanted to track. So
Can you
look
still
at
see
that.
your tracking? I can't even
Yeah,
see
man.
it.
And it sold for less than our maximum bid.
So yeah,
No, it didn't.
Dave, what's going on with that?
Did you guys send me the money? Because I don't know anything about it. Wait, where
But
are you
it-
seeing that?
It's just weird. I'll say it says
the
it
high bid
sold
was
for
9,500.
sold for 9,000.
Oh,
Oh, sorry,
no.
9,500.
9,500.
And with
no,
the
that's
buyer's premium,
Our high bid was 9,000 less premium, less buyer's premium.
Yeah,
I
we-
thought. Okay.
Yeah, Dave figured in the buyer's premium to our max number.
You want me to go back to the text? I got to scroll through
Yeah.
400 texts.
No, that's why I couldn't
Because
find
I
it
said
either, because
we all decided to be in for 2,000 per item, and you guys can all know this. And 2,000 per item with buyer's premium and tax was $12,000. Do the math on
Okay.
9,000
Yeah, no,
times
that's-
45.
that's
I see.
That's
so
how
if you
I
had gone the
understood it.
next increment, we would have probably still been outbid. So
Probably.
I see.
Yeah, because the
But
book
that is-
person
that
could have put
is-
in $20,000 and we
Right.
never would have got there.
You get way back. That's how Dave explained it.
Yeah. Because if now you're saying I should have been 12,000,
no, I'm not saying that
I'm
at
going to
all.
punch you
No,
in
I
the
thought-
throat.
I thought it was 10. I thought our max was 10. So anyway.
Our max was
Whatever.
12 all in,
All
including
in.
tax.
Okay.
Because tax on
Because there's
$10,000
six,
is a
Daryl.
lot.
There's 6, not 5. So
There were 6. I was going to take 2 and sell one.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And,
Okay,
and
then-
does anybody remember what the second lot sold for?
Yeah, because Brian was like, bid on it. Dave, bid on it. And then Daryl said he's out. And I'm like, fine. Then we'll figure out amongst at least 3 of us. I don't know if Todd said anything, but me and Brian would have figured it out.
The second lot I was out on, but I think Barry, it went for
It went a little
more
less.
on average per piece.
We
than
only
the-
went for $8,000
in the first one,
on
yeah.
that. It wasn't worth it because to me, there were 5 pieces and one was bullshit, I think.
I didn't
It was
like the
Wait, so
sec-
you
I didn't
actually
like the
did
second
bid.
lot.
See, that was the context that I lost because I wasn't following the chat. You actually bid on that second lot.
It was
yeah.
really a me and Brian thing, and we would have
Okay.
figured it out later.
All right, I would have bought one as long as it wasn't 007. But
Yeah. That's no.
one was broken. One was 007, which I think was just an onset joke or something.
it was a
Yeah.
goof. Yeah.
I would have taken the 500. I would have taken the broken one probably. 500's a good number. Anyway, we didn't win.
That
those.
is a good number.
That's the one. That's the thing we talked about. We're all going in on it, and it would have been great. And I don't
Like
know.
so many bits, so many items
Right,
at
but-
the auction, it just didn't work out.
It was fun to
it
get
was a lot
excited
of
about
fun.
that with you guys. Like it was a perfect splittable lot.
I was thinking about it today. If infamous bidder 7101, and we can talk about who that was later, wasn't there, they would have made half as much money.
Well,
Because-
again, I'm saying he, but 7101, we'll just call them 7101 for a while until we talk about who we think it might be, bid an enormous amount and just outbid everybody. I mean, it got to the point on the second day when they would read off that number, people were groaning in the room like it was audible. And the auctioneers were having to say, all right, it's okay. It's okay.
So if just to backtrack a little, if you didn't watch it, so basically they'd go through the auction, 9,500, 10,000, blah, 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 closing for 10,000. Then at the end, the auctioneer says, and the lot goes for $10,000 too. And then it either the person in the room, because there were people in the room, held up their bidder card and he would say bidder 102, or the people watching the internet would say internet bidder number, and this 7101 won a ton of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
They just started
High-end
saying
and low end.
101.
So can you ask for, do you think if you're a big bidder, you can ask for a number? Because every time I heard 7101, I heard 1701.
That's what we
was-
said in the text at one point. Yeah.
Oh, I
it
didn't
was,
see
it
that.
was simply numerically who won
Yeah.
first. He was
Yeah.
the first
I was
winner. I
7102.
was like the fifth winner.
No.
I was 7105.
Ah, okay.
I think they started. This guy may have been the first bidder.
He did.
I think
he
it
won
started
the
with
he
7.
won the bus and he won both busts. The first 3 items he won.
Oh, did he? I didn't realize that.
I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
wasn't
based
paying
on
attention.
registration number.
If this person
Like when you
is overseas, as we suspect they are, they're going to need a shipping container to get all the stuff they won back to where they live.
I'm sure
Yeah,
they'll
but
figure
as
it
I
out.
was saying, that so many times I saw it was obvious between one person who wanted the thing and 7101 going, oh, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, split, win.
The
That was it.
times, that's when we knew it was this guy. There's always
Yeah.
some poor schmuck who's like, I have to have that. And then you're bidding against somebody who apparently has unlimited funds.
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
Or there'll be a whole
I bid against them.
there'll be a whole other auction in a couple of weeks when they realize that I can't pay for any of this.
Yeah, when the
That I can't pay.
station-
I don't have $4 million.
when the ice station zebra jet came up, my third bid was $3,000 and it just hung, and I was waiting to win it for just $3,000, and then 7101 jumped in and we went all the way up to 10, and that was it.
Oh man.
And it was just me and him,
Yeah, there was nobody else bidding.
and that's
Yeah.
why I started
So that's
looking
the
around.
thing,
Going, you know what?
it's
This has
like-
been happening a lot.
That's,
It's
I
been
mean,
happening a
hey,
lot.
if we had the money, we would do the same thing. But, but it wasn't. So this guy bought, he didn't buy the Lost in Space robot feet, did he?
Look,
He
Because
bought
those
the chariot, right? Didn't he buy the
Those
chariot?
went crazy.
The Lost
that-
in Space robot, B9 robots, just the feet went for
feet.
$350,000.
That's insane.
That's just the
Okay, so
craziest
let's just
thing
put it out
ever.
there. 7101. If you happen to be listening, we
want you on the show.
We want you on the show.
Yeah.
We've got questions.
Oh, yeah.
But
We can
he
talk to you
won-
about
he-
everything
they-
you bid on, and we can talk to you about those Hobbit movies we think you might have made.
Yeah.
That'd be boring. Though.
Dave, there's the title for the show. 7101. We want you.
Yeah. Who are you? Nobody.
What they won the 2001 spacesuit for like what, $280,000?
Yeah.
So this person was bidding on high end stuff, but then Derryl was bidding against him for the Planet of the Apes rifles. He was.
Yeah.
Okay,
And they
so
were-
Lost in Space wise, he won the chariot for $130,000, and these are bid numbers, not all in numbers. And he also
Well, the all-in number on that was 162.5.
okay.
I have that in front of me.
He also won the robot feet for
Oh, he did?
$280,000.
How much?
280.
280. So that was $350 with buyer premium.
Yeah.
I think every lot I lost to 7101. I was in on.
But that's the thing. He's buying these
Most
high end
people can
hundreds
say
of
that.
$1,000
No.
items, but he also was bidding on, like I know me and Darryl wanted to bid on the 228 for, which is a freaking 2x4 with some paint on
Yeah.
it. Those are, in this day and age, those are $1,200
Yeah.
items.
Mr. Hobbit wants to be the next Greg Jien, and he was willing to pay for it.
But that's what, like, you have to
Possibly.
buy both of those things.
Yeah. Have you seen his collection of World War I British uniforms? and going
How about
back
his
to
World War I biplanes?
Unbelievable. Yeah, the guy collects biplanes. Yeah.
Who's this, Peter Jackson?
Yeah, that's what the rumor. There's a rumor that bidder was Peter Jackson. We are not confirming or denying that.
We can't be two-faced about this, because this auction, it was an unbelievable lifetime collection of stuff, the likes of which will never be seen again.
Yeah.
And the fact that somebody like who never knew Greg Jien, I guess, in their life, and I mean, say you are who we think it is that bought it, like he may have employed Greg Jien to do minis for him at one point or something like that, but Greg Jien wasn't ever going to sell any of his stuff because he wasn't motivated by money. He wanted to have the stuff. Mm-hmm. So the fact that somebody came in and appreciated like all the high-end pieces or like half the pieces he had is not a surprise if somebody had the means.
I have no problem with that, but it sucks when he was into everything.
It's very frustrating.
In 15 or 20 years, there could be another auction.
Maybe, or you know,
maybe there's a museum. I don't know.
It's the entire tourist attraction for New Zealand that he's going to build a museum where the only place to see all this stuff is New Zealand.
I don't know. So maybe it is him, maybe it isn't. But this guy went after stuff.
7101 bought the Hero Phaser, the Hero Communicator, and the Hero
Tricorder. No. That was somebody else.
It was? I thought it was the same
phone
person.
Bidder. It wasn't him.
Oh, I thought it was the same person. Because that person spent $500,000 on those three pieces.
And we know it wasn't Dave Mandel.
No.
No, because if it was a phone bidder, Dave Mandel was in the room.
Because Dave, we can talk about Dave.
We'll talk about him in a minute.
Yeah.
He's got plenty going on.
So
are you sure,
Brian? The communicator,
I'm looking it up.
I thought it was.
Where did you write this all in the?
I printed out the entire auction in page form by list. There's only 30 pages. and wrote them down as I went. Because I knew this stuff would come up. Here we go. The winner of, let's see, the first communicator went for $120,000. That's again the bid price went to $75.10.
Oh.
The Wacheng tricorder went for $140,000 to $75.10, and the phaser went for $150,000 to $75.10.
Oh, I knew they all went to the same person. I thought it was 7101.
Maybe he had two bidder numbers.
With their with those buyers' premiums, that's $500,000 right there in those three pieces.
Those honestly, and I think they went for less than we thought they would go. That phaser went for what, $180,000? You said
with the buyer's premium it was $187,500.
That's not a lot.
That's a lot less than we thought the phaser.
Yeah, we were saying
for.
$500,000, between 500 and $1 million. It was crazy.
Yeah, there were a few things that I mean, look, it's impossible to speculate what stuff might sell for, but
I don't think you're ever going to get into that money. I know that there's a lot of money for a lot of these things. I don't think you ever get into that money. You get close to $1 million unless it's a one of a kind thing. I really don't. I think, I mean, $500,000 is still a whole lot of money, but I'm saying once you get above that, when you know that there's multiples of that thing that exist, I mean, how do you
but how many phasers are there? Like
two.
Who?
Two phasers. So you guys are the Trexperts, right? Let me ask you, how do you feel overall about all the TOS stuff that's sold? How were the prices compared to what you thought? We just talked about the big three. I think they were much less than what we thought.
But they're exactly what I thought. I thought the TOS stuff, and I think you guys didn't agree. I thought the TOS stuff wasn't going to go crazy. As I said in the text, it's, TOS has fans. The original series had, the next generation has fans. The original series has cultists.
But there were a lot of items, and a lot of them went for healthy numbers. I mean,
there's no question. There's
50,000 here, 80,000 there. It wasn't like they went for peanuts.
I feel like the high end stuff went for lower, and the lower end stuff went high.
It was primo stuff too, but it was just, it's not that you'll never see this again mentality, which I don't think that's there yet.
But it was interesting because the I feel like there's a lot of people like us, and some maybe with the idea to spend more money, and then there's those high end people. I don't know anyone who's going to spend $500,000 personally, but there was stuff I bid on, and I got outbid by 10 times my bid.
Yeah.
On low,
Yeah.
like one of my things on my list that I was the high bidder for a minute or two was a female red velour, season 2 dress. When I think I was out at like 4,000. It went for $14,000.
Yeah,
it's not 10 times, but I'm saying it went for I think 18,000.
I will tell you
that's a lot of money.
Random crew person stuff went for a lot more than
anything that had a badge on it.
That's what I'm saying. But it was like the known, the Mr. Shatner in the collar, all that stuff. You expect that stuff to go crazy, but just random crew uniforms went for much. In TOS went for much more than expected.
I agree.
It seems like the floor came up, and maybe because of the sheer number of bidders who were aware of this and involved in this and interested and just wanted a piece of the Greg Jien collection, and especially Trek, because that was his focus.
Yeah.
So the floor came up, but it felt like the ceiling came down as well, because some of the next generation stuff went for crazy money more than TOS stuff did.
There's probably more fans and more people.
We talked about that a little bit at the beginning of the auction when the Rocky Jones Space Ranger stuff was going for so cheap, and that there's a time thing that the older things weren't going for so much, and the prices were going up closer we got to modern day, and it was still going up, getting close to peaking at the end of TOS, and then Next Gen happened, and then Star Wars happened, right? And that's the prices kept going up.
There were Star Trek, like season 1 and 2 stuff, the big 3 or the big 5, because there were all 5 in there. Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Uhura, and Scotty. They were going for reasonable money. I mean, there were Kirks that were going for what, 50,000? It's funny. Season 3 Kirks and Spocks went for 100,000, and I get it. Those things are in much better shape, made out of better material, present way better. They were only used for a season. Those velour shirts went through the ringer. So
it's right, but literally, the ones that Greg had were probably the best ones that were out there.
Yeah, probably.
Even the condition on most of his stuff was as good as
in the Julian's auction. Just a few, maybe a month before there was a Kirk gold velour because Julian's does it differently. Their reserve is the first bid. The reserve was $50,000 first bid, and it got passed for a Kirk velour. And then I thought that was the indicator that they're going to come down, but they sure went up. These guys
certainly did it differently than I've ever seen an auction done before, right? I mean, their starting bids were very low on most items.
I think there were maybe 5 items that didn't sell in the whole catalog.
Yeah.
On the first day, there were only 5 items. And the batarang that was passed sold instantly. There's a guy on Facebook who said he bought it. Honestly, I thought about it for $3,000. For $3,000.
It was in rough shape, but
it was in rough shape.
Could have grabbed it.
Only at the tips, but
I mean, I was looking at some stuff yesterday in the day 2 in the Star Trek toys section, and the problem was
the aliens, the Mego aliens,
graded Mego figures, but there's a premium you pay on it because it was in Greg Jien's collection, and then there's a little bit more of a premium you pay because he graded these figures.
I also think they didn't know where to go with them. There isn't an opening bid in this auction that was less than $500. And that's where they set the bar. They didn't know what they had. Those are $100 figures, maybe $150.
Well, some of them are more. I mean, I mean
some of them, but
the one I'm most interested in is the Keeper, and it's still available. Starting opening bid is it's $500. It's $625 with the buyer's premium. The last one that sold on eBay was up there for $599, and an offer was accepted on it. So I don't know that this is a crazy price when you factor in the grading and the Greg Jien premium on it, but I just don't know that I want to spend $600 on what's normally a couple $100 carded figure.
I think the Star Trek Migos, Barry, are the perfect example of what happened with this auction, because all the named characters who are super common sold for
crazy money,
insane multiples, and the aliens, which are the rarest, sat there and didn't sell because the like the casual person who wanted a piece of the Greg Jean collection
I
didn't
think there
really
was a lot of
recognize
that
what
at the
they
end. Yeah,
didn't
that
really
was,
recognize what they are.
those
You
were
can
the
buy a
lowest things you
carded
could
Kirk
get.
Mego figure for under $100 every day of the week.
Every day.
But it sold for $1,600.
That's crazy.
Everything was upside down.
Yeah.
So I sold my keeper last year for like $500. It was beautiful. And now you can go get the Greg Jean one for the same price.
Yeah.
So go get it, Barry. You'll probably buy it before the end of the podcast.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
very
Barry.
possible.
Go grab a Greg Jean item while you got a chance.
Yeah, the
I
items
got
remaining
extras
are
in
the-
mine.
are the
I'm
Sharon, the
willing
Gorn.
to sell all my extras.
Yeah.
Well,
Sharon, the Gorn, the
we'll talk
Keeper.
about that off the air, Dave. I downloaded the pictures of what you bought, and there's a lot of stuff in there. If you're not,
Let me
keeping
tell you
all of it-
something. I'm glad we're all over the place. I'm glad I had looked at that lot extensively, and I don't think a lot of people did. There's 15 pictures of stuff. So I bought whatever. I won a lot that it was 25 badges and etc. from Star Trek the Motion Picture. Now,
It's
that
not all
lot
from Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
has Star Trek the Motion Picture. It's got the maroon uniform stuff. It's got stuff from the First Contact uniforms. It's got the epaulet things, the shoulder things from. There's a lot in that auction.
But
Nice.
what's the deal? What is the deal with the Mirror Universe patch? That's in that lot?
And that's from Enterprise.
It's from Enterprise.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say there's no way that's from
No.
TOS, and it
no,
went for
it's too well finished.
yeah.
So there's badges. There's an admiral's badge in there from the maroon uniforms. There's a lot
And there's
of
some
stuff.
kind of pins, like it's not pips, but there's like
there
metal
were
pins.
those are next gen pins.
Yeah.
So there's a lot in this. I mean, and I can't tell how many. I saved pictures from the catalog because when it shows up, I want to make sure I get everything because
Right.
I think there's well over a dozen motion picture, Delta badges.
That's what it looked like when I
Well
looked at
over
all
a
the
dozen.
pictures.
I want
Very
one of
cool.
each color, and then I'll get rid of the rest.
Well, I'm in for at least one. You know that.
I am too.
Oh, yeah.
You
at
hate
least one.
Star
At
Trek
least
the
one.
Motion Picture, Todd.
Okay,
I'm
I'll take the
sorry.
last pick. I'm sorry, but I would take one.
There's also Epsilon 9 badges. The space station that blows up at the.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're ever even seen on screen, but there's about 6 or 8 of those badges.
There's medical badges too.
and there's 4 medical badges.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff in there.
Yeah. So I bid on a costume from Star Trek the Motion Picture. It was the engineering uniform jumpsuit. That starting bid on that was like pretty low, but it went for $4,000 with the buyer's premium.
Some of this stuff went high.
And then
You know what
I told you I was going to bid on that dopey helmet just because I've ragged on it so many times. And it went well past what I was willing to pay for it, like within a half a second.
I think there's people who collect helmets and swords. I really do.
Helmets
Helmets
went.
always go for crazy money.
Yeah.
Helmets
I wonder if
helmets
Adam,
are
Adam
so
might have
great.
been on that. He's a helmet collector.
I mean,
Helmets
that
have
helmet
such a presence.
only went for $1,875 with buyer's premiums. It's not like it went for $10,000.
I think helmets are like the easiest thing to display.
They have
like-
such a presence on shelf.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah.
wasn't
Even-
that helmet, though, if it had
even
been
more
any
than
other helmet, I
weapons.
might have gone deeper. But I only wanted it because I thought nobody was going to want it because it's so stupid.
Well, one of my goals was, which was crazy. Now, I wanted a TOS shirt with a badge on. Now, I passed on the first ones because they were not in great shape. There were caged blue ones that had faded. They went for the cheapest. They went for I'm looking at my stuff I bid on. They went for one went for $3,900. My backups, I passed on those because they were not in great shape. But the female uniforms, I had one went for $14,000. Another, Brian, the pants and shirt you were looking at bidding on, those went for $24,000. Unnamed characters. And then there were the red one that I mentioned that I did bid on that went for $15,000. They just went crazy. And then then my next thing was Star Trek the Motion Picture uniforms, which went for reasonable prices. There were a couple like the gray uniforms that one went for $2,400. I had already bought the badges, so I'm like, And that's a tough thing I'm not putting mannequins together. I mean, I was really like everybody after something with a badge on it. And if I couldn't get that, I just bought the freaking badges.
There you go.
The badges were
you did better because honestly, all those people that bought uniforms without badges over the years, if you're going to sell any of your extra badges,
there were several in this auction. I would almost like to get a hold of those people. Like two things bought badges, costumes with no badges.
My wife was getting to me. She's like, "What? I scored early, and I consider myself very, very fortunate. Is that I got a Forbidden Planet uniform, the full gray uniform with the piping on the front, and it was only $2,400, and I was surprised to get it that low. And then I completely forgot that there's 2 other shirts in it as well. I went back to look. I was like, "Oh God, I'm getting 2 shirts and a full uniform." It was like
that was part of what was weird about some of these lots was there were a few lots where there were multiple items.
Yeah, I forgot it was in there, and I guess it's it's old enough, and 7101 doesn't like Forbidden Planet, thank goodness.
I know. Well, and now I thought you had that style shirt. You don't.
I do. Well, no. Okay, so there's a shirt. There's the duty shirt.
The thing shirt, with the thing
and the wool jacket with the ribbing across the front. I do not have.
You have the duty shirt. That's
these are the collar shirt.
The
right?
collared, the duty shirt's the collared shirt.
Okay,
yes.
Now, you have 2 extras of those now.
Yes. Dave has first dibs.
Okay, I'm fine.
Not to disparage those shirts, but they are filthy.
I have got magic soap from Bijo Trimble.
Nice.
That delicately cleans anything.
I would love to see that because I bid on 2. What did I bid on? 2 shirts that they were 2 pants and shirts and a hat, and they only went for $2,200, but they were in really nice shape. And that was like the first lot I bid on, so I didn't go too high. But it had the hat, which was nice, so I missed out. But I would be willing to trade some Epsilon 9 patches for one of those shirts.
So which one of you guys bought William Shatner's toupee for $13,750?
That's crazy.
That went for more than the Spock ears.
Yeah, it did. No. Spock ears with buyer's premium went for $15,625.
And what did the toupee go for with buyer's premium?
$13,700.
That was with buyer premium.
So that goes to Todd's belief that Spock is greater than.
That's right.
Kirk. Well, the Spock ears are iconic. I mean, his toupee, while iconic, who the hell wants that?
It's a novelty.
They want that story to open the box.
They should have photographed it on on a mannequin head or something because it looks like a tribble in the catalog.
Yeah, I think that's part of the joke. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Speaking of tribbles, those tribbles went for way too much money.
Oh, the tribbles! God. I was the underbidder on the walking tribbles.
I think I bid on the 2 smaller tribbles. They went for $8,000.
And the large one went for $9,000.
That's ridiculous.
You know what I paid for my original thing?
Yep.
It's nowhere near that.
The large one was actually very big. It was like like a size of a loaf of bread.
You hope yours are original, right, Dave?
Well, I've got a COA from David Gerald. He from his collection. So
good enough for me.
So we haven't talked about Star Wars yet.
Let's get through Star Trek first. There's more Star Trek stuff.
Okay. So the one of the items that I was surprised. I mean, it went for good money, but I was surprised by was Finnegan's shirt. I thought that was
all that stuff went for crazy money. That's sort of off.
Yeah, but it's still, I thought compared to other things, that's very recognizable. It never shows up anywhere else. It's just just like I said, I thought that was one of those things that was just very, very cool, and I was surprised how cheap that went. But compared to other things.
But wait, it went for how much did it go for?
What did it go for?
I thought it went for higher than I thought it would go for.
it wasn't that much more than like regular crew shirt, basic random crew shirts, right?
I have to dig for it.
Okay.
Dig. I don't know. These are all. I don't have pictures. I only have
you get the text
descriptions.
Well, you look for that. The other thing that I'll tell you, one of the things I bid on was the styrofoam cube from By Any Other Name.
Yeah.
Now, I went crazy and bid $1,700 on that because I thought it sold for $37,000.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Finnegan's shirt was $9,600.
That's a lot
with buyer's premium.
That's more than That's more than I thought it was. But
that cube was out of control.
That cube's insane.
So
it's insane.
On Star Trek costumes, I was up seeing James Cawley at the Star Trek set just a few weeks ago, and we were talking about this auction, and he expected stuff to go for ridiculous money. He said he got to go visit Greg Jien. The Akutas introduced him to Greg Jien. They went to his shop, and Greg knew that he was a Star Trek guy. He knew Bill Tyson. He was into costumes, so Greg rolled out his Star Trek costumes. 3 those racks you see him walking down New York City with. The
garment racks.
Garment center,
3 garment racks stuffed with Star Trek costumes. That wasn't all the costumes he had.
I was going to say, so do you not think okay, so that is interesting.
So there's,
Didn't they say at the beginning of day one that, by the way, there is more stuff and there is going to be another auction at some point? Yeah. I heard him say that.
Did he actually say there's going to be another auction? Brian told me that face to face, but I don't think they actually announced that they're going to be another one. I
was watching before the bidding actually started, as soon as the live stream went up, and he said this isn't everything and there'll be another auction.
They sold a lot of stuff here. I can't imagine.
It was a lot of premium stuff. I think the next one will be like a tier down.
That's what I think too.
A lot of guest star costumes. You're gonna see he had all the guest star costumes too.
Really?
Yeah.
There wasn't did he have the female costumes? Because those were super elaborate, and there were none of them. There was one in the whole auction.
He had many. He has sold some already because I've seen some of them go by.
Didn't Commissar have a lot of those? I remember seeing those in.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Was because like he had some that were very recognizable.
Yeah.
He
had the woman from the woman who's actually a cat. What was that? Cat's Paw from Cat's Paw. And
didn't he have that android girl with the crisscross thing?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, we didn't talk yet about some of the ships that were in the Star Trek lots. Like the shuttle Galileo filming model went for $225,000. The Botany Bay, which was a huge model, went for $200,000. And that had been painted too. That wasn't
makes
original.
Total sense because how often do you get a chance at a screen used ship from TOS? There weren't that
never
many.
Because that is probably that the only starship, right? Because they're not going to sell the Enterprise,
right?
The Romulan ship's missing. They don't know what happened to the.
You know why? It's cloaked and they can't find it.
That's what it is. It's just like sitting in Greg's attic still, but it's cloaked.
The Klingon battle cruiser model.
The Enterprise is at the Smithsonian. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And the Klingon battle cruiser, isn't that still in? Somebody has that. I remember hearing it was on.
Right, but I'm saying that there's not another. I mean, that's really.
Nothing else was on screen. Coming up are very slim. Yeah.
Right.
Nothing else was on screen.
I was shocked that the Botany Bay model was out there. Like, it was in Space Seed, but it also was reused in one other episode as a background ship, and they repainted it. And it's been
it was a freighter.
Yeah. So the model that was sold, I mean, it's the same ship, but it was repainted, so it's not the Botany Bay.
The shuttle was repainted as well. It was repainted when they for a later up was it Trials and Tribulations or one of those other episodes. It was repainted as well. But it's still the ship underneath there. It's still the one.
Yeah.
Botany Bay.
They don't come by.
And I know Darryl and I both wanted the little eel from Star Trek 2.
Oh, from SETI Alpha 5.
It went for a ton.
It was $22,500 with buyer's premium.
It didn't. It went for 16 plus whatever Barry was saying.
It was 18 plus buyer's premium.
But the thing that's the starting bids on all these things were super low. I mean, it's so crazy.
But the more I read that, it was the maquette. I'm not even sure it was the screen used creature.
Well, so I looked at it very carefully, Barry, because I was interested, and I was in on that until, well, not halfway until the final bid. But the carapace is identical, but the eyes were different on that creature. So I think you're right. I think it was not the actual screen used one. They never said it was.
No, they never did it. They specifically call it a maquette, which usually is the thing they do to design the creature.
The reference thing, yeah.
Yeah. So,
but the eyes were different, and that gave me a lot of pause.
Yeah. Pretty cool though. Pretty cool.
It was super cool.
And we didn't talk about any of the Batman stuff because there was a ton of Batman stuff.
Oh my God, yeah.
Some
bat belts galore. Bat
3 belts,
accessories.
and I don't think they went.
They went for less than I was
they?
expecting. I was surprised at that.
I don't know what previous Batman belts went for, so I don't know what the benchmark was for a Batman.
These all went for between $35,000 and $40,000.
But it felt like the first one went for the most, and the prices went down. No,
but the first one had the most accessories on it.
Yeah.
I feel like the quality went down and the prices went up, is what I was thinking.
Right.
The thing that I was considering bidding on was the lowest bat accessory, which was the bat rope, basically a thing of a yellow container with some rope in it, went for $33,000. The batarangs.
I thought that was the joke of all the accessories.
Yeah.
But here's my question. We're saying that we think that the audience for TOS Star Trek is smaller and smaller, but Batman is from the same era. So, like, is it just because it's Batman?
I don't think it's small. I don't think the audience for TOS. I think both of those things are iconic things that are just not. They're not going to be supplanted. I think as long as there's stuff dribbling out from them, there's going to be.
We're also saying I think we're looking at this through the lens of the past 3 or 4 years of auctions. $40,000 for a bat belt is no chump change.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah,
I mean, 10 years ago they probably sold for like, $12,000, if that. I think we're just thinking all these crazy prices, but there's some help. I mean, batarangs, the folding batarang went for $100,000.
And let me tell you, when he bought that, I thought it was a swear off the X-Wing. I thought he'd given up.
No, he didn't buy the folding one.
He didn't?
He bought, so we're talking about Dave Mendel. He hosts the Stuff Dreams Are Made Of podcast with Ryan Condal. He's out there talking about this, and there's a lot to talk about with him in this auction, but he bought the back cuffs, and he bought the metal battery.
The metal one.
That was the metal one. That's right.
So the metal one, the Hero folding went high. The back cuffs were not cheap, $27,000. The metal one I thought was $42,000, maybe. Looking it up here. So it's interesting. They had metal ones, they had rubber ones, and they had fiberglass ones. Oh, large metal sold for $42,500. He bought that one. That is probably the nicest one of all of them because it's in the best shape. The metal one.
Yeah, for sure.
So he bought that, and he bought the back cuffs. Dave has a bat belt that I guarantee. I think he traded but he paid a fraction for that belt of what he bought here in this auction.
Before we go any further, why don't we talk about our favorite store,
Fanboy Collectibles?
Because we're getting pretty far into the show. So.
Very far.
If you've got money left over because you got outbid by 7101. That's
we all have. Well, I don't have, but you guys, some of you guys have plenty of money left over. You should go buy something. They got everything: Hot Toys and Sideshow and Kotobukias and Pops, and they were just at New York Comic Con, so maybe you stopped by and saw them there. Statues, they got everything. The holidays are coming up quicker than you think. 2 months? Wait.
Crazy how quick it's coming up.
2 months and a week. They're all relatively in the same place. So anyway, put your list together, give it to your loved one, buy stuff for yourself, buy stuff for your friends. Check them out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the Regular Joe sent you.
Okay. I think. Well, do you want to talk Logan's Run before we go on to Star Wars?
I think Star Wars is the most important thing.
Well,
it is.
We never even did random.
Wait a minute.
We went straight into the.
Wait. We got to talk about you and Todd's rage bid.
We're going to do this.
That was not a rage bid. That was a pre-planned.
I think there's another significant sci-fi entity from the 70s that merits discussion. Before we
go ahead, talk about your little show.
Wait.
Hey, we're doing the show chronologically. They're next.
That was the well-planned and tactically executed to exactly where we wanted it to be, because nobody cared.
Bid on something nobody cared about but you guys.
Hey, that's the way to collect stuff nobody else cares about.
So Todd and I are friends, and we are fans of, everyone bow your head, the great John Saxon. One of the most prolific actors in bad movies ever.
Grossly underappreciated in his time.
I realized I have the DVD of two of the three of those sort of Genesis 2 Strange New Worlds. I didn't have this. I ordered it last night.
This one's Earth 2? What?
This is Earth 2. So Gene Roddenberry, after Star Trek, made a bunch of pilots. Some were good, some were okay, and he made two that were sort of with the same character. And then he also made the Quester tapes. Anyway,
sort of had the same name.
Huh?
The character had the same name.
Had the same name. Dylan
Which
Hunt.
he then again then they went on to reuse for
that Kevin Sorbo thing, right?
Yeah, the Kevin Sorbo, which is what Andromeda.
Anyway, so Todd and I are fans of Earth 2, a John Saxon movie. It's a post-apocalyptic thing. And they had two, not one, but two sets of the uniforms they wear in this TV show, and
in this pilot, or is it a TV show?
It was a pilot. It was a TV movie that was a pilot for hopefully a series that never happened.
That had Dr. Fate, right, on the Justice Society.
I don't know what that means,
right?
Yeah, no, not that Earth 2.
Different Earth 2.
Not that.
Not
Earth
the
2.
Will Smith narrated, nature documentary.
Not the Earth 2 from the DC universe.
I was interested. Yeah, if it's not DC, you lost me. Okay.
Anyway, so somebody, for some reason, and before the bid, I did all my tracked items. I had 40 tracked items. And when you look at your tracked items, it said how many people are tracking them and how many bids they are. Of everything I did, this had the lowest amount of people tracking. There were only 7 people tracking this, which is more than I thought. But someone put in the original bid, and then Todd and I bid the second bid, and they must have been asleep at the switch, and we
that was it.
5 costumes, and you guys, you could buy into them. There's one for each of us.
Hey,
congratulations!
Rhode Island Comic Con, we're all wearing them.
I don't.
The whole team.
I think you could wear one.
You could probably wear one.
And I'll take Dr. Midnight.
I could wear it as long as I didn't have to close the zipper.
Yeah.
I'm happy now that I'm not going to Rhode Island Comic Con. The one good thing I don't have to squeeze my
I
body
will wear one.
We are happily. I don't know what we're going to do with those.
Are you happy with what you paid for them? Are you comfortable with what you bid?
Oh, absolutely.
We paid above we paid basically the opening bid,
which was still too much money for that.
You got the cheapest Greg Jean lot.
Where are you going to get costumes like this from this era that are incredibly distinctive and recognizable? A Gene Roddenberry property. For that money.
Recognizable. Nobody knows this show.
Nobody is you,
Barry.
Okay,
they look like if you smashed Battlestar Galactica together with maybe the original Tracker V or something, you might get this costume.
No, first of all, these costumes are a precursor to the next gen costumes. No doubt.
They totally are.
I will give you that. They do have they're reminiscent of that. So how much are you into each of these costumes?
$10,000. It's nothing. How much are they? With buyer's premium, $13.75.
Divided by 5.
5.
Divided by 5.
Cheap.
So I don't know the math.
That's the cheapest Greg Jean lot in
it is, and it's the cheapest Greg Jean costumes. And again, it's a Gene Roddenberry thing. It's a No,
All right, so they're like $300 a piece.
$300 a piece.
Okay.
wrong.
I don't know why you guys didn't buy the second lot in corner of the market.
You really should.
No,
And
this
do them
was
out
the
one at a
second lot.
time.
We didn't want the first lot.
Yeah,
So I heard-
somebody bagged the other lot from the right
For the opening bid.
Yeah.
I heard that Greg Jien used to go into his garage and, with all the costumes, the racks of costumes, and he just like caressed these over above the others.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought he used these to cover up the good costumes so that they
Here's
didn't
what
get
we're going to do.
Keep the dust off.
I will have the DVD tomorrow. Everyone come to my house. We'll put it in the movie theater. We'll watch Planet Earth.
I would do that.
I'll just.
And I would
drape
say
one
I would
around
say
me.
do not rewatch it because you may regret your purchase.
I rewatch this
That's awesome.
every 5 years since I first got a copy of it.
It's Earth.
This is
Earth 2? Is this
No,
what it is?
Earth 2.
Planet Earth.
Planet Earth.
Planet Earth.
Never mind.
This is so incredible.
Did you just order the wrong DVD?
No.
This is so
The Ken
awesomely
Burns
70s
thing.
Okay, everything
Planet
in this is like it's Logan's Run. It's all that kind of. It's that era.
Is this
that
the one with Lee
ended-
Merriweather in it?
This is no. This is Diana Muldaur and
okay.
Janet Margolin's in it too.
There's something else. There's someone. Isn't
Ted Cassidy and then
Mariette Hartley's not in this?
Mariette
she's
Hartley,
in.
that's what I meant.
She's in the
Yes.
other one
She's in
she's
the
in,
other
she
one.
is in the other one. Yes.
with that guy with that horrible mustache.
Yep.
That's
Alex
the one-
McCord or Alex.
Alex
McCord.
Corr.
And-
Sorry, I'm making fun of it. Well, congratulations, you
I'm
guys.
excited about. I'm going to put that in the same kind of box I put my Star Trek movie shirt in and display it.
Yeah,
If you want me to make
I have
you a box, I'll make
mannequin
one.
in a box in the basement that I have yet to unbox. I think just to drive Barry insane, I'm going to put it on.
I
that
do
mannequin.
think that
It's
it
parked
would,
right behind me here.
and no disrespect, Dave. Just looking at the pictures, I think it would display better on a mannequin than it will in
I'm
a
not
frame.
just putting mannequins. I need to stay married.
I've got a mannequin right here. I've got two mannequins in
Hey,
my basement.
If you
but they're
put
in my
costumes
basement.
on a headless mannequin, they look like they're hanging on a hanger. It's fine. No one gets freaked out by the headless.
We'll see. But this is a jumpsuit. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna. Anyway,
All kidding aside, you got a good deal. I joke because I have never even seen this, and I don't have.
but
any.
Todd and I have been. Where were we? We were at.
It was the day we met. It was the day we
No,
met. We were
but
talking
we
about
talked about it.
We were
but-
talking about John Saxon at lunch.
Remember the picture you drew? I feel like we were out at the Outback in some place, and you drew that picture of Maskatron. I still have that.
But I drew the John Saxon picture first with the John Saxon hairline and the eyebrows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then we talked about our love for John Saxon.
You guys bonded over your love for John Saxon.
And what was and I found through some crazy thing, John Saxon was signing autographs through the mail. And I got the picture from
I so wish
Planet
I'd done
Earth
that now.
with his autograph on it.
I have his autograph on the Maskatron thing. I so wish I got the
that's going to go somewhere
that's
with
awesome.
the thing.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
that was
well,
Maskatron.
congrats,
I thought
guys.
it was a bloomin' onion.
So, yeah. I think we were in somewhere, Pennsylvania. Anyway, so
Logan's Run. Let's talk about Logan's Run.
let's talk about Logan's Run. I'm very glad you didn't win because Brian and Brian wanted the sort of holster that came with a stunt
flame gun.
sleep
gun.
pistol. And I'm like, I'll split it with you. I'll take the stunt pistol because it was in crappy shape, but it was going for like $13,000. I'm like, please, I'm not paying. I was in for like $300.
No, it went for $2,800.
Yeah, with buyer's premium was $35. So
35,
it's still
that's too much money for a holster and a gun.
too much.
I'll make
to
you one
split
out
that
of
lot
metal
up.
if you
I mean,
want.
the gun literally looked like it was foam wrapped in black electrical tape.
And it
Yeah,
looked like a piece of the front of it was broken off too.
Yeah, it was horrible.
What did the actual flame gun go for?
That went for $30,000.
30,000, 37.5 with buyer's.
That was,
To-
I think, that was
7101.
7101.
yeah.
Definitely Logan's Run fan there.
And
showing
he
up.
got the costume too, I think, right?
And I
did
think
not.
he got a steal on that costume.
No, I threw some bids on it. It was one of those internet things. So someone had put in a pre number on it, And I kept throwing numbers at it, and it would go up another notch. I threw another number, it would go up another notch. I went, no, I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to chase this. This is ridiculous. This person.
But that costume with the complete costume with the belt and everything for $8,500.
Yep,
$8,500. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
That's a pretty good deal because that was a beautiful costume, and that was Michael's costume, right? That was Logan's costume.
No, it was not. That guy was wrong. It was not
because he said it was when he was the
auctioneer. Mandel said that. He was wrong.
Oh, okay. So it's not.
He also said the people were 25. He also said he got all that wrong things about Logan's run.
Yeah, he got all that wrong.
No, yeah, it was a background costume. And you're right, Barry. It was a really good, deal. But I knew after getting beat up on by 7101 before, I wasn't going to go chasing him again.
Yeah, I mean, all things relative. With the buyer's premium, it was a little over. It was 10,625.
How
much did the follower go for? Because it went for 7,000 because I bid on that.
Yeah, 87.5 with the premium.
Yeah, the Batman costume went to 7101, and but the follower went to someone on the internet.
Oh, okay,
that's right. And then the stunt followers, which were in past auctions, those would go for a lot of money because you never see followers. I mean, the one that I have is the only one I'd ever seen anywhere ever before this auction. They would have gone for more, but they went for $1,300 for the pair, and then the stunt flame gun, because of me, went for $2,800, and those both sold to the same person.
Oh, really?
$7,350.
Now, yeah. Brian, your hero follower, is it in better shape than this one, or worse, or equal?
I would say equal, although mine's been modified a very strange way. The Velcro was moved from the front to the back.
Okay.
And I don't know if that was done because of the television show or a previous owner did it or what, but Greg's was exactly like they were used on the show.
And it's surprising that the hero was a piece of wood. It never lit up.
Okay, they call these heroes because these are the ones that hung on the belts of the stars. There was one working light up follower. It was cut in half and turned into the TV show one.
Oh, so that's right.
It's lost forever.
I have that in my collection, and I'm willing to sell it.
But Brian, I'm not going to. But you paid considerably less than this one sold for yours, right?
Not much less.
No. Okay.
No. Not much less. I'm still very happy I've got it.
You don't see those at all, and most of them were cut up for the show. Yeah. The TV show made them shorter, right?
Yeah, they cut them in half. Yeah, made them all shorter, and the flame guns were all converted. So even the one that sold today, I'm sure, has the television show stuff. In fact, I know it does because the switch at the back where the
was on the
thumb hits it. That's
on the thing. It's on the back.
That's a TV show edition, so they wouldn't go off on their belts, which was a problem during the movie.
Okay.
All right,
Barry, now we'll get to what you want to talk about.
Well, I want to talk about everything, but
no, I know, I'm kidding.
There were two really key Star Wars pieces in this auction. There was the Stormtrooper armor,
and the Death Star turret.
And the Death Star turret, yeah.
That thing went for kind of cheap.
They kept saying it was complete. Honestly, it's missing the pieces that cover the hands, so it's not entirely complete, but probably the most complete one that's outside of the archives and in the best shape. From what I hear, even better than any of the ones in the archive. So
I was so tell the story. I was in the movie theater when this went off, so I didn't get to see the bidding.
So they were back to back, and if you listen to the go ahead. Sorry,
I when you guys said that Dave Mandel had won them both, I was stunned because I thought there's no way he'd bid on the Stormtrooper before the X-Wing was coming.
I didn't think so either.
Yeah, and if you listen to the most recent the Stuff Jim Zermatta podcast, not a sponsor, good for them. They go through, everything they're going to bid on, what they're thinking, and they're the same hemming and hawing that everybody does. I don't know, on a scale 100 times of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And these guys are not billionaires. I mean, they're well-paid TV writers, and Dave has got an incredible collection. And he was saying, I'd like a Batman. I'd like the Stormtrooper armor. I absolutely want the X-Wing. He went after the first X-Wing that was in propster pod
just a
thing,
year ago, yeah,
and didn't win that. And he bid up to like $2 million.
The pyro, which was far less significant.
But and they talked about it on their podcast, so it's not like we're saying
it's not like
they didn't already say
any.
I mean, he's got an amazing collection from what he describes and from what we've heard from people who know him personally.
I have seen it. It's amazing.
Yes, Derryl has
but
been.
He's got.
Been there.
He's
but he's also got a huge comic art
and
collection.
Comic art that's worth millions.
A lot of money. And he was saying that he's got a bunch of Frank Miller comic art that he's going to sell to offset how much he was spending here. So,
and I think those are his extras. Because he said, I have extras that I could sell.
He also said that he has a stormtrooper costume that's not as nice as this one, and it's missing a few pieces. And he said also he was going to sell that.
Oh, that's coming up for auction, yeah.
If he won
if Ryan doesn't buy it from him, yeah.
Yeah, well, Ryan said he might take it from him.
The difference is the one that was in this auction is complete. It's one uniform, all like that's the screen match uniform. The one that Dave has, put together piece by piece by piece. It's all screen used, but I think his helmet is the one that says "Luxor droids" or something like that.
Right.
It's supposed to be a stunt costume, but it has a pickup scene where somebody actually muttered, actually had a key line.
This is a hero costume, with a hero helmet. Which
it's a stunt. This was a hero costume with a
hero with and screen matched to the guy who.
I didn't even imagine that anything like this existed. I think
it's in great shape. And what's funny is the pictures in the catalog make it look worse than it actually looks, because it looks more yellowed in the way they shot it in the catalog. When they were filming in that room and he was showing it on camera, it looked better. Maybe it was the lighting, but
this looks like a Kenner action figure.
It kind of is. But they also were saying that because Greg kept it in a garbage bag, literally had this in a black garbage bag for 40 years. That's why it hasn't yellowed more. Like, it's just crazy.
So tell me how the bidding went down for that. He was obviously not the only bidder. How'd that go?
No, it was there were a
number of bidders, and there were
12 bids.
There were some other floor bidders too.
Oh, I was going to ask in the room. Yeah.
Well, it says 12 bidders. Does that mean 12 unique bidders, or there were 12 bids?
Yeah, 12 bidders.
So with the buyer's premium, it went for $645,000.
I don't think Peter Jackson or 1701 or whatever was in on this.
No, I think if he had been, it would have probably gone for more. I honestly thought this would go for more than this.
I thought so too, Barry. This is like the greatest Stormtrooper costume that's ever come up for auction.
$100,000 is a lot of money, though.
Oh, no doubt. But
the interesting thing is, and we're not relaying anything that we didn't hear on the podcast. Dave was really divided on what do I do, because basically the X-wing that he was dying for was at the end of the
right.
That is my question. If the X-wing had been first, would this have gone 700, or would it have gone would it have gone higher?
I don't know, because
were people holding back the big money because they wanted to buy in on that X-wing?
But only 9 people bid on the X-wing.
The way Dave was bidding, and we knew his buyer number from watching this, because they don't show buyers' faces, but they show the top of their heads, and we knew what he was after, so we knew what his buyer number was. The way he was bidding, I felt he was going to pass on the X-wing, because he spent several $100,000 on day one.
It seemed like he maybe had given all hope on the X-wing.
And he went in all in. My guess is, and again, he alluded to this, the good thing about so Prop Store sells props and costumes. Heritage sells comic art, coins, watches, jewelry,
anything that's collectible,
autographs, everything.
And even when I got my invoice today, it said you can pay all these different ways: credit card, check, bank wire, consignment. So
vials of sperm. Do they have vials of sperm as an option?
No. Anyway, but I have the feeling, and okay, Heritage is a sponsor of their podcast anyway. I have a feeling they said, look, we'll let you consign a ton of stuff. And I know he has stuff they want. And because he even said on the show, it's like, look, I could give 5 Frank Millers, but I don't want them all in one auction. I want them spread out over 2 years. I bet they came to him.
And he's
said,
promoted the hell out of this auction.
Yeah. Well, I want to get to that in a second, because I'll get to it now. Their promotion, and we sort of know how the podcast business works, and no offense to them, they're not a giant podcast like we're not a giant podcast. The amount of money they got paid for the season isn't more than, on the high end, $100,000. The fucking buyer's premium on his shit was almost $1 million. I mean, right. So there's no way they're like, don't worry about the buyer's premium. Your podcast that gets listened to 10,000 people a week wasn't going to cut it. So
there's also a reason he was there in person. I mean, he'd been down there earlier, a month ago to shoot all these videos and help promote it. And
I bet they said, look, as long as you guarantee to consign stuff, we'll give you 2 years to consign stuff to pay for it. Because he went all in. I mean, he spent $4+ million on this auction.
Well, and so let's talk about the X-Wing now. It sold for $2.6 million with the buyer's premium. It was $3.135 million.
So who was bidding on this? People in the room, or was this internet bidders, or who was bidding on this?
Combination, I think. Of both.
It was a combination, and we did we say this on the air? I don't even remember.
No, you didn't.
There was a point. So when you're watching the live thing, there was just the auctioneer. They pulled back a little. Dave was like in the second row. You saw the top of his head, and you saw his bidder card go up. And at one time, when it was like $2.2 million, he was shaking his head no. And then all of a sudden, he bids 2.6 and won. It was me and Mark were watching, and I'm like, this is freaking exciting. It was really
exciting. It was riveting.
It was really cool.
How long did that auction take? Would you say that one item?
It wasn't that long.
It wasn't that long because there weren't that many bidders. Here's what I found interesting, and this was live on the internet, so we're not saying anything that everybody else didn't see. Once he won it, they pulled back even further with the camera.
Yeah.
And you could see it was him, and everybody around him stood up and they were clapping for him, and they were bowing to him, and they were congratulating him. And then somebody said to him, "Hold up your bidder number. We want to take a picture." And he said no. He said, "I don't want that."
So meanwhile, we all know who he was.
We all know who it was, but he waved that off.
He had this gesture that if you've seen him on that, he made like, oh my God, like what did I just do? He's very
animated
when he talks.
Dave is
God
animated.
Bless you, Dave. If you're listening, you should be proud of yourself. I'm glad you had the money. We know what you went through to get it. You are the ultimate prop,
well, and he went to the wall on the last one and it sounded like, listening to him talk on the podcast anyway, like he was literally depressed after losing that. Like it affected him emotionally.
Yeah. Dave was very depressed.
I feel like he was like, I'm all in. I mean,
so what's interesting is actually what he bought before this one. Yeah. And in fact, the things he passed on that I thought were kind of relatively cheap, like especially some of the Batman stuff, he did show great restraint. I mean, there was a lot of Bat gadgets that he could have snapped up that seemed like relatively inexpensive, around the $15K price. But he was pretty diligent. It's that when it came to the Stormtrooper uniform, that's where I was actually surprised that he was in it and won it. Yeah. And my thinking was that he thought this is an unbelievable deal for the best Stormtrooper uniform that's ever come to auction. Because if you listen to his podcast, he talked about, he's very happy with his, and I don't think this was gamesmanship. I don't think he was trying to get people off it. No, I honestly didn't think he was gonna bid.
I was shocked that he won that
since before this one was even revealed to be available. He's been saying that for 2 years on his podcast.
Yeah, so he was happy with it. He said, if the maybe if the price was right, he could see getting this one and then selling the other one. But his other one has an on-screen line. That's the actual here. So I don't know what he's going to do, but when I heard it, I was actually surprised. But my thinking was, I'm trying to put myself in Dave's shoes, knowing that the X-Wing was the next lot, and that's That's the one he was focused on. Why did he get the Stormtrooper outfit?
I just think he went all in, didn't care.
I'm actually thinking that he was thinking, this is a bargain. I can't pass this up. I'll make it work.
Because I'll probably lose the X-wing.
Well,
so
that's right. I'm thinking the same thing. If he ended up losing the X-wing, at least he got the other big item that he wanted.
At least he got the greatest Stormtrooper outfit that's ever come to market. He'll have that. And in the end, good for Dave. He got both things. Plus what he wanted out of the Batman lots and whatever else he won. I mean,
he's obviously got enough stuff to sell to get it. I mean,
yeah.
And I talked about this when we talked about my trip to Skywalker. I didn't make it over to the costume side, so I never saw any of the Stormtrooper armor. But from what I've heard from people that have seen it, most of what's in the archive is not in good shape because it was all reused and repainted. And when I was at the Lucasfilm offices, they have a Stormtrooper armor on display there. It looks terrible. Like, this one is so much better than what they have on display in their offices even. Like, you're right, Derryl. There probably isn't a better one in existence, and there will never be another one for sale unless Mandel someday sells his collection.
Yeah. So I really think he bought it because he saw it was relatively inexpensive compared to what he thought it should go for. And he thought it was his hedge in the auction. Like, if I don't get the X-Wing, at least I could walk away with this. And then in the end, he managed to get the X-Wing too. So, okay. So let's go to the X-Wing for a second. The X-Wing, was the underbidder 7101?
You don't know.
I don't think he bid. I don't
think he bid at all.
So we didn't know though. That was the thing.
So that's interesting because 7101 has shown himself to have like unbelievable means, like almost unlimited means with everything else they bought. I think either they own the pyro from the last auction and they're happy with that, or they really said Dave should have this. We're going to step aside and let him have it.
Dave knows who has the pyro because he said
he knows who has it.
We know who has it. We can't say who it is.
Yeah.
I think that my gut tells me that he bid against that person last time, and that person has the pyro now and didn't feel the need to go in on this one. Because if it's also, who we think it is, he could have bought both of them.
Derryl, I also have a suspicion that the person we're thinking of, the assistant, was bidding because it was freaking 2 a.m, 3 a.m. in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe
you get up for this kind of stuff.
I think maybe an assistant was given a list and said, "Don't bid over X number for anything," because he didn't bid on anything over $500,000. I wonder if it was a cap on it. Bid on this list. Don't go over $500,000. I'm going to bed.
Huh.
You never know.
How much money would you have to have that you could go to bed and sleep when that was happening, knowing that
Peter Jackson, according to the internet, if it was him, is worth $1.5 billion.
Still
from those crappy movies. I don't get it, but whatever.
Not crappy movies.
So he's only got 1.3 now because
there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
$2 million on this auction.
No, that would be 200.
200 million. He didn't even make a dent.
Right.
I was just like, so Dave on his show said he's got Frank Miller art, whether it's extras or not. He's got Dark Knight art. I was just looking up on Heritage. Dark Knight pages sell for like $400,000 to $500,000 a piece.
Right, and that's why he was saying he can't sell 4 or 5 of them all at once. He's got to part them out over a few years.
But imagine like you go crazy in an auction like you've never gone before, but you have stuff you could sell to make up for that.
Yeah. Apparently, he's got a whole string of X-Men covers as well from like
but that's not easy. So when you're Dave, and you're saying I could just sell comic art to offset this. You're faced with an insane decision because yes, while the Star Wars stuff or any other prop we're talking about is actually screen used, these pages are screen used in the same way for comics. These are completely iconic pages.
And they're art drawn by an artist.
But extras, Dave, means so, and you've heard Dave talk about this. He may have 15 Frank Miller pages.
Yeah.
Right. Each one of those is an incredible gem, some of which are going to be more important because maybe they actually have Batman on it. Others don't have Batman on it. Right. So those are the kind of the lesser ones that you let go. But I don't think he actually has 15 Frank Miller pages. He may, but he's talked about it. He says he's got like 8 or something like that, I think is what he said. So crazy. you let a few of them go, but each one of those is an irreplaceable gem,
But he's also probably got stuff that's in a file drawer, stuff not displayed that he can scrape together this much money. Anyway, good for him.
Yeah,
I'm glad you won it.
I feel like I know him because I've been listening to his podcast for years.
And they're very honest in that show.
It's
good for him.
It's an incredibly tough choice for him. The best thing would be for his wife, I think is Becky, to say like, "Wow, you got these for less than you thought. Good job. You don't need to sell your Frank Miller art. We'll make it work."
Barry, your buddy in the restoration business has been getting all of his work. That Stormtrooper in the X-Wing could be coming to him.
Probably not the X-Wing because he doesn't usually deal in models, but maybe the Stormtrooper.
He does, but he does custom mannequins for sure.
Yeah, not that
he's got a mannequin guy for that.
He does got that. Is it Gino or some other guy?
Yeah.
He'll get the Gorn Hand and the Salt Vampire.
That's what he'll get. I was thinking I'd buy that Batarang and send it to him to fix.
Oh yeah.
Spending another minute on the X-Wing. I mean, it really is. I mean, unbelievable that this thing turned up in the shape that it's in, and that's another one. There will never be another one of those up for auction
unless it's Red 5, which is rumored to be out there. But,
the missing one. If that thing surfaces now that this went for over $3 million, that if that was ever going to surface.
5. So I mean, Red 5 in the same shape would go for more, obviously.
Oh, obviously.
I thought Red 5 was repainted to be like Red 3 or something like that.
No, Red 5 is in the archives, but it's missing the wings.
Oh.
I think it's Red. There's another one of them is the one. I think it's Red 2 that's missing.
Okay.
Somebody will correct us if
as much. And I love Star Wars, and that ship is amazing. I just the other stuff was so much more exciting to me. I don't know why, because I feel like we just lived through some crazy auction with the X-Wing. I don't know.
The X-Wing is it.
I agree.
It's the pinnacle.
Not the Kirk Wrath of Khan coat. That was awesome.
It was awesome, but it's not an X-Wing. I had played the Powerball game with my wife where I said to her, because it was like $1.7 billion, which of course we all lost. But I said, if we win 100 million or more, I'm spending $4 million on an X-Wing, and I'm making sure we have this conversation now. And she was like, if you win me $100 million, you can spend $4 million on an X-Wing. So I had her convinced.
I think you could win 10 million and still do it. You can't live the rest of your life on 6 million?
I could provide the right life for my family, but also have an X-Wing.
So while we're talking about wives, my wife came back from grocery store shopping. I had just won the Forbidden Planet costume. I won the Forbidden Planet costume. She's like, "Oh, great! I finally get to see how the thing's put together."
So
wow, you are a lucky man.
She'll make it. That one from those pictures is in great shape. You got a nice item there, and that thing is like, is how many years? 70 years old.
Yeah, and I've seen them go for double that. In the past, I was shocked. It was the one that was next. The next one is what saved me, because the very next lot was complete with the belt and the hat and the boots and the works.
Had it been opposite, the underbidder for the other one would have won after that one big.
Yep.
So is there anything
and you have
else
pants
specific?
And a shirt?
I have pants and a shirt and a hat.
And a hat. Oh, you have a hat. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Anything else specific that anybody wanted to cover? Like any other special items?
What did that Orville's costume go for? Did you? I know it was like the second
I wasn't
to
even
last.
paying attention at that point.
I know.
I had my finger on the bid button, and again, my wife said, "Don't do it," because she's already made herself one, and she doesn't want to see where she went wrong. So I did not bid on the Orville costume.
And that Galactica stuff went for a lot or more.
It did.
And that stuff went to 7101.
The belt passed, and I was looking at it, and It was weird because this was strange because the first bid in the belt was $500. And then we all got that email last night saying, here's all the stuff that didn't sell. You can buy it now if you want. And I went and looked at it and it was $2,000. It's like, but the first bid was $500. Why is it $2,000 now? And now it's been sold.
Really?
No, it's still there.
For sale?
Yeah. I think it's $2,500, but it's still sitting on the website.
Oh.
Other things have been taken down.
The thing that I don't fully understand on their buy it after the auction if it didn't sell thing is it sounds like you're making an offer that they have to accept. It doesn't seem like it's an actual like buy it now purchase.
No, I think they're actually buy it now. So I think if you click on it, you
they
can buy
do
it.
say make an offer, but like Propster, it has to be 80% of.
Well, see,
they won't let you make an offer
reserve
here.
auction, so they can't do that.
Yeah.
So the opening bid on that thing was 500, and it's now that doesn't make sense.
That's weird. I think maybe they put the buy it now prices what they think it should have sold for instead of just the first bid.
That Robin thing was 3,000, and that was its opening bid.
It was 3,000. I regret not getting that one. That's for sure.
I'm still on the fence about this Keeper Mego figure.
It's
okay. Let's
Barry?
break this down.
Well,
you
it's $625 with the buyer's premium.
But you only want it because you want something from the Greg Jien auction.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, you've got a spandex jumpsuit with your name on it.
But BK, keep in mind if you sent that
price.
If you sent that Keeper figure in, so I sold my Keeper for $500. It was excellent condition. If somebody sent that in to get it graded, that's $125.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's true.
To get those things graded. So I look at that as like that's pretty. That's like just buying a Keeper figure.
You're not going to Rhode Island Comic Con, so you'll save that money. You might as well spend it now.
That's true. So I do want to tell you so there was an auction tonight for like collectible cards, as we said earlier, and my initial thought was everything in that auction was from the Greg Jien collection. We figured out some of it was, some of it wasn't. Part of the way I figured that out, I didn't say this to you guys before, was because I did put a bid in on something, and while we were recording, I won it. But it was something I bid on before I realized it wasn't from the Greg Jien collection.
Oh, really?
But I think I did okay. It's a card from the Wrath of Khan featuring Scotty, signed by James Doohan. I don't have a Scotty autograph.
Oh, that's cool.
With the I won it for $24, but there's a $49 buyer's premium, so I'm into it for $73.
That's still fine.
That's for James Doohan's autograph. That's
exactly. So that I got that from Heritage, but it's unfortunately not from the Greg Jien collection.
And I'm glad you mentioned that trading card auction. So I did win 2 lots in that. Those are my only wins from the Greg Jien collection because I got skunked during the 2 days of the auction.
You've got a jumpsuit with your name on it too.
Well, and Dave, I am going to hit you up for at least one of those patches from that other lot, so I will have something.
That's fine. They're only $2,000.
Yeah, that's right. But they come with a jumpsuit.
Yeah, yeah. Every patch comes with a
jumpsuit.
Here's the deal.
It'll come wrapped in a 70s polyester jumpsuit.
They're $500. Alone with the jumpsuit, they're $300.
And Dave's gonna cut up that certificate of authenticity into 5 pieces.
You get a photo copy.
We will sew the patch onto the jumpsuit, and you'll have
I'm
to
still waiting for
it.
Dave to make me copies of certificates of authenticity for the last 3 things we went in on together.
I sent you scans of all that stuff.
No, you did.
Todd,
we talked about it, but you never actually did it.
I'm pretty sure I got them. So.
Yeah, I sent
you sent them to Todd. You
didn't
send them to me.
Scans. Good.
Well, when you split a lot 3 ways, only one person gets to keep the certificate. So that's just the way it works.
I have them in my safe.
Well, hey, look, the guy that bid and spent the money and paid the shipping and all that gets to keep the certificate. I'm cool with that.
Anyway, quite a weekend, guys. It was.
It really was.
It was really fun.
It was fun. It was long. It was fun. It was a little heartbreaking. And
I'm glad we got to talk it out. I needed this therapy. I was pretty depressed on Sunday afternoon, I got to say.
Well, and the last thing I was going to bid on, because I had one relatively inexpensive thing on my list, and I'm like, nobody's going to bid on this. At worst case, I get nothing. I'm going to buy the 3 miniature oil drums from the V TV show. And those went for $1,200. Those, I think Greg made those, so that probably added to the appeal on those.
That's crazy.
We didn't even talk about all the Battlestar ships and the Buck Rogers ships. I mean, there was, and all that. A lot of that stuff went to this infamous 7101 bidder.
He liked whoever it was liked the same stuff we like.
Yep.
Speaking of which, stuff. Did you see that the 3 ships at the very end were pulled? Do you know what the story was on that? The 3 ships.
No, I didn't notice that. I mean, I noticed that the.
Wait a minute. After the mushroom, there were 3 ships listed, and it says these lots have been pulled. This lot has been pulled, but they're actually not in the catalog. I'm looking at the catalog now, so maybe those were just errors. I'm not sure what that was.
Alice Eve Star Trek uniform got withdrawn as well.
That's true. That one got withdrawn.
Because too many perverts wanted it.
I would have considered buying that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Case in point. Point proved.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what we didn't mention, which we should, just for fair to be fair. The spacesuit from 2001 went for almost $500,000.
Yeah,
and I thought that might go higher.
Or 7101 bought that.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought that was $250,000 more than it should have been.
$447,000.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I would love to see. I'd love to see
$500,000. Wow.
Total of what that bidder spent on all the items they bid on. It had to be
by mistake.
Had to be $4 million, probably. $3 million.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy is right.
And a quarter of that is buyer's premium.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
I got my invoice today. It's like, oh my god.
Oh, I knew that with the buyer's premium,
they're very good about putting it right on the screen when you're about to bid.
That is nice.
Yes,
exactly what it's going to be.
Exactly, which is good. Yeah,
because not every auction site does.
They always charge you the shipping later, which is a little scary. But you didn't pay for with a credit card. They charge you 2.5% on a credit card.
Yeah,
I wired them money.
Well, my $70 trading card, I can afford to pay the credit card fee.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, that's plenty. That's more than enough stuff.
Good stuff.
And have you seen the catalog for the next prop store auction?
I haven't even looked. I decided not to look at it.
I breezed through it. Yeah.
There's some amazing stuff in there too. I mean, I don't know if this is interesting for our listeners as much as it is for us. I mean, I know we end up doing a lot of these catalog things, but take a look at that catalog, even if we don't do anything about it on the show. There's some great stuff in there.
Yeah. Cool. I got to take a look at that. That's cool.
And they're also doing a music memorabilia auction too, there's some amazing stuff in there, but I'm not going down that road.
Yeah. Plenty. We should have been doing this 25 years ago.
Yeah. Like our friend Greg Jien, and then we might have
say one of us was.
Yeah, Brian. I mean, we've scratched the surface on this show about all the amazing things in Brian's collection.
There's nothing you mentioned that he says, I have that.
Yeah.
Wait a second. You've never seen Planet Earth, but you have a prop from it.
I have a prop from it. Actually, it's the Mariette Hartley one.
Oh, you have it from Genesis 2 or whatever.
Genesis 2. Yeah, it was one of these auctions. It was a screen used prop, and nobody wanted it. The first bid was $75, and I won it. It was one of the pain sticks.
I thought there were pain sticks in this.
Maybe it's the same movie over and over. It might be the same thing.
That one's a little. I watched that one maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
It does feel like Roddenberry just had the same ideas. He kept recycling.
He totally did. Yeah. We're gonna have a film festival. You guys got to come here. This
episode could have been a TOS episode. It totally could have been. I mean,
it probably was.
This show. I mean, This is.
That was the interesting thing. They sold those. They sold the scripts to TOS. And they came, the fine print. There were unproduced scripts too.
Oh,
yes,
those would be cool, but those went for a lot of money.
Apparently, one guy was in the front row buying them all.
Yeah,
yep.
Mr. Blue.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, we've talked enough. Last thought, Brian.
I know a number of people have passed away this week, but I definitely wanted to speak about Mark Goddard, who's kind of a personal hero of mine. When I was a kid growing up, when we played Lost in Space, we used to fight over who was going to be Don.
Because he slept with Judy.
Yeah, he slept with Judy. What do you have to say? I got to meet a couple times. I have a Don West costume my wife made me. He was not like Don at all. He was a funny, goofy kind of guy who also drove a Fiat sports car, which I thought was cool because I drove a Fiat sports car. But Don West really shaped Don and Will shaped my younger years because I was just the right age to watch that show when it was first run in black and white. And so rest in peace, Mark Goddard. We will miss you.
Well said.
Well said.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.